President Biden and the White House repeatedly have tried to knock down concerns about a Biden 2024 campaign. However, some Biden allies doubt the president is really physically up to it. This campaign is expected to be much more grueling for him than it was in 2020 at the height of the pandemic, when Biden did most of his campaigning from his basement. One Democrat insider told The Hill it's really going to put the president to the test. Another said, the more he's out there, the more likely he is to make a gaffe. To which I say, really, only one? Former Democratic presidential candidate Andrew Yang with this.
I think that there should be a competitive primary in the Democratic Party. Joe Biden said in 2020, I am here to be a bridge to the next generation. That is what he should be at this moment. If he does not, then we are punting on this entire succession challenge, and it could emerge at a very inopportune time. There are very, very real risks going down the road that it seems like we're going down.
Biden will be a bridge. It's just a really long bridge. Power panel, Gianno Caldwell, Fox News political analyst, and Kevin Walling, former Biden campaign surrogate. So, Gianno, is the president breaking his promise?
Absolutely he is. That was part of the reason he said he ran. He wanted to make sure that Trump didn't win, but he was going to get right out. I agree with Andrew Yang, and I think when you look at the polling, recent polling showing that 71% of Americans believe that the country is on the wrong track, they also agree. The fact that you got progressives like AOC who won't say if they support her or not, and looking at the economy, which is the #1 issue for most Americans, is not a rosy picture for them. Inflation isn't a rosy picture for them. The border, where fentanyl is coming in from China, where we just saw a meeting with Putin and the Chinese president, not a rosy picture. So at this point, he's running to say what? Because he doesn't have a set of accomplishments that the American people are buying.
So do you get back in because it's ego, Kevin? Or, does Biden think he's the only one who could ever beat Trump? And if that's the case, what happens when these guys get stronger? DeSantis, Tim Scott, Mike Pompeo? I mean, you're going to run Biden forever? He'll be like a century old.
Well, I hope not. But listen, I think, as the president has said,
it's not possible
that he's going to run as a 1,000-year-old candidate. But listen, as the president says all the time, don't compare me to the almighty, compare me to the alternative. And Harris, I think you make some interesting points with, right now, former President Donald Trump is the likely Republican nominee based in every polling. And I think, that has actually encouraged, to your point, Harris, the president to take a really strong look at running again in 2024.
But is he the best one to beat whomever is on the other side, whether it's Trump or not? You got to have the stamina to do that. And
look at history. This is a guy who won 8 million more votes than the former guy. It's really hard to beat an incumbent president.
Do you realize he's going to have to go outside his 2 houses in Delaware a lot? And he spends almost a third of his time there now, and it's not even a campaign season. All right, let's go forward. Former White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki with a new platform. She's taking on Republicans' fight against wokeness and whether voters will embrace it.
It seems that blaming woke politics for problems big and small has become a one-size-fits-all response for Republicans lately. For Republicans, wokeness is public enemy #1. They clearly think it's a winning message ahead of 2024. And it makes you think, are they onto something? My gut here is no. You don't need to be too worried about their war on woke, because the Republican crusade against wokeness may not be as potent of a campaign issue as they may hope. So everyone out there, it sounds like you can let your woke flag fly.
Gianno.
Well, I know there's a big issue with wokeness. There's a new website, stopwoke.com, that's up, which I encourage people to take a look at, because this is a real issue. I interviewed Mark Lamont Hill, a far left guy, commentator, who didn't even know what woke really meant. And a lot of Americans don't really know what woke means at this particular time. So the truth of the matter is they're throwing in a combination of a bunch of different trash and saying, hey, Americans should buy it, when Americans want tradition. They want to ensure that their kids are getting a quality education, and you're not infusing it with this hard left lunatic education, if they want to call it that. That's not what our country stands for, and I think that's why a lot of Americans are against this woke agenda that we're seeing from the far left.
What's interesting about Jen Psaki, a few months ago, she was the person right before the midterm elections, Kevin, who said, you better concentrate on crime or you're going to lose this election. And so then Democrats listened to her. They went and they did ads, they did everything, and it really did end up helping them. But right now, the president and his family are under investigation for no fewer than a dozen shady deals that got federal attention. They're called suspicious activity reports that are sparring these investigations for millions of dollars flowing from China. There's no woke in that. And I wonder if she has them, Democrats, focusing on the wrong shiny object.
Well, Harris, I think it's an interesting question. Listen, Jen Psaki is an excellent communicator on the Democratic Party. She was a great press secretary. And I think, you know, wokeism and the nature of being woke has become a catch-all on the right, where, you know, banks are too woke, you know, curriculum is too woke. And I think to Gianno's point earlier, you know, the economy is going to be the #1 issue, as it was in the midterms 2022 elections, as it is for 2024. So I think if Democrats can focus on those issues and batting down some of the, you know, the egregious, you know, accusations that are out there in terms of oversight in these committees, and focus on the economy, focus, as the president wants to do, on this great record that he can run on over these last 2 years and make the case to the American people, while Republicans are talking about this, you know, the nature of wokeism, you know, I think we're going to have another good election night, as we did in the midterms.
So you actually are trying to give some advice to your party, and she's just pointing to the fact that, you know, the other side sounds loony birds for talking about this stuff. That's not the same thing as what she did right before the midterms, which was, you got to shift gears to crime. Real quick, Gianno, last word.
Yeah, I think at this particular time when we're looking at the overall Democratic Party, they're in trouble, and they really are. They don't have a message that I think is resonating with the American people, and Republicans need to take full advantage of that and do what they were elected to do in the House of Representatives, for example, and ensure that the American people know that Republicans are the ones who should be leading our country forward.
Power panel, very powerful today. Good to see you both.
Thanks,
Kevin
Harris.
and Gianno.